I know you're all nurses, and I know that you're in this profession, just as I am, to serve, to do a good job. But it's really easy for us to get caught up in our own baggage. We're all human, and we all have a certain set of preconceived notions, just as you walked through the door and you saw me for the first time, just as you might have seen Alia. In the sensitivity training, inevitably, they know very little about the faith of Islam. They think that the faith of Islam is a very, maybe, terroristic, militant, barbaric, spread by the sword faith. And so when they have a Muslim up there talking about patient rights, dignity, issues around health and illness, all of a sudden you see all of these stereotypes that people have as part of, the baggage as we grow up, just kind of fall. When you transcend culture, you arrive at a universal place where our humanness is all the same. You grieve the same. We all cry when someone we love dies. When we deliver, those of us who can deliver, we all experience labor. Something happened in Dearborn that further established a need for this kind of work, and that was the huge immigration process as a result of the Gulf War.
As a critical care nurse, Najah Bazi often has to counsel patients with terminal illnesses, like this Iraqi immigrant who has just been diagnosed with uterine cancer.
I said to her, "What do you think you have?" And she said, "I have an infection in the uterus," and they took it out. Maybe she's not hearing it the first time. Maybe she doesn't need to hear it. Maybe she can't hear it. They're just not saying the C word at all. And they're not using that word with her. And they want to just maintain hope. And we're just going to treat it delicately. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Assalamu alaikum. These are families immigrating from a way of life, and mostly because they've been torn by war. And so they get here, and the helpers are here. And it's quite obligatory to be that helper.
When Muhammad arrived in Medina, he made it clear that helping immigrants would be one of the cornerstones of the new Islamic society.
This is his message. Spread peace, feed people food, and do some devotional practice, and you'll enter paradise without any trouble. 2/3 of that message is about other people. The secret of Medina is it's a place where human beings are going to attempt to live up to the ideal of the Islamic tradition.
Part of the arrangement was that the people of Medina agreed that they would provide housing and support for the immigrants as they came in. And very often they were even paired, so that certain people had direct responsibility for specific people from Mecca.
And that did not take place in 24 hours. It came step by step, and within a few months, you now had two groups. The helpers, so-called Al-Ansar, that is those Medinan Arabs who had become Muslims, and the Meccans who had become Muslims before them. And in this way, for the first time, you created the Islamic Ummah, that is the Islamic people, that bond which transcends all other bonds.
He said to these people, these are now your neighbors, these are your brothers and sisters. He establishes that sense of humanity, that ummah. We are all connected to one another. We are all responsible for one another. A couple of you guys to carry to my car. I'll label. Okay? There's a mosque in the heart of Detroit, and it's run by an imam who started a soup kitchen. I want the kids to be able to see that that's part of Muhammad's message.
This is the exit right here. So
whoa, hang on, everybody. It's a sharp turn. Hang on.
Archie is like not a good driver.
Listen, I'm a good driver.
This is the first test. If you can't pass this test, the rest of it's off. All right, man.
The majority of the ones that come for the soup kitchen are non-Muslim. It's only maybe 1 or 2 people that are Muslim that come for the soup kitchen. And we let them know that it's a part of who we are as to why we're doing this. It's a part of what God has commanded for the Muslims, for the human being to be charitable.
But I'm studying to be ordained as a Catholic deacon. So I had run into Abdullah when he made a presentation about Islam. And I was really attracted to the works of this mosque. I was never aware that there was an active part of Muslim faith life that really reached out to the poor. I wasn't even sure that it was part of your creed. Abdullah went through misunderstandings that would commonly exist. He started with the term black Muslim. What does that bring to mind? And, you know, honestly, it brought to mind certain things that would make you fearful. Certain kinds of maybe aggressive behavior, nationalistic kinds of thinking, as if we're going to carve ourselves off from the others and have no fellowship. He said, if I tell you what the stereotypes are that I have of Catholics, when you listen to them, you'll say, oh, those are extreme examples. Those are not what we are about.
Dearborn is the place where the early immigrants of Arab, Lebanese, and Middle Eastern people came and settled down. This country embraced them and opened its door for them. Yet they needed time to adjust and go through that difficulty they faced when they came to this country. It's two different societies, two different cultures.
Najah and Ali Bazi are raising their family in the suburbs of Dearborn. Their children are third-generation American Muslims.
We're trying to combine the best of both worlds and give our kids the family values that our parents teach, and realize that they live in land in the United States which has many opportunities for our kids to prosper in.
You still can't beat me.
Okay, I'll beat you anytime.
Can you?
Can you shoot 5-0 from
I
the
can
same
shoot
spot?
5-0 from anywhere.
5-0
anywhere.
Anywhere? Right now?
Right now, let's go.
Like many Dearborn families, the Bazis struggle daily to balance the sometimes conflicting demands of their